We're not going to know the details. We're not even going to be able to conceive of the details. And so we cling to the promise. God works for the good. And that brings up something else that some of you deal with through these situations. God is not punishing you. If you are a believer in Jesus Christ, God is not punishing you in these things. You don't have to sit back and you don't have to say, whoa, God must be really, really mad at me. I wonder why, because why am I going through this? No, you don't have to say that, because Jesus Christ took upon his shoulders our punishment and our condemnation. And so the troubles and the trials and the tribulations that we encounter in our own lives, those are not punishment. But they're not unexpected either, because Jesus himself says, in this world you will have trouble. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. Take heart. I have overcome the world. What we need to understand is that God is concerned for our eternal good. And all these circumstances in life that seem messy and painful and hard to take, all of those things, once we reach glory, will be looked back on in retrospect and seen as blessings that brought us where God wanted us to be. Where God wanted us to be. And so that's why I wanted to point out what I did in the passage that we read. Yes, it's the passage about a miracle. That miracle furthered God's purposes in this world, furthered God's purposes for the church. That's verse 24. The church continued to increase. The gospel continued to spread. But it wasn't just the miracle that led to that. And it wasn't just the prayers that led to that. It was James's death that led to that. It was Peter's arrest that led to that. It was the miracle that led to that. It was the prayer that led to that. But it was Peter having to go on the run after that situation that led to that. It was the continued persecution of the church that led to that. And everything else that happened in individual lives during that time and throughout history and in our own lives as well, serves that greater purpose of the good that God ultimately and eternally wants to bless us with. And what is the nexus? What is the nexus for both all of the suffering and the trials and also all of the blessing and the glory that we experience as believers? The nexus is the cross. Jesus coming to save us through his death. Jesus suffered. Jesus had trials. Jesus now sits in glory, preparing a place for us, ready to bless us. Jesus is the nexus of God's love.